10B, receive a presentation regarding the San Mateo Avenue Water and Sewer Replacement Project.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The topic in front of you tonight is in regards to the infrastructure improvements project along San Mateo Avenue from Angus to El Camino. San Mateo Avenue is the core of the city's downtown that consists of businesses, offices, restaurants, and some residential units. Improvements within the downtown has been the city's top priority. The city completed the transit corridor plan and is beginning to see the development projects under construction, starting with the Plaza project. The city is also investing in improving in the infrastructure that will support the needs of the businesses and future developments with this project. Both the existing water and sewer infrastructure along San Mateo Avenue have aged and deteriorated, and this project will replace the utilities to provide more reliable water service and prevent future sanitary sewer overflows. And the staff don't normally bring design projects to council until contract is awarded, but it's doing so tonight because this project has an impact to the city's downtown. The purpose of the presentation is to provide information and an opportunity for comment by the City Council and members of the community who regularly uses San Mateo Avenue so that we can discuss and include measures in the contract documents to minimize disruption in the area and prior to advertising the project to bid. In order to provide an opportunity for property owners, residents, and businesses to learn more about the project and to receive their comments, staff hosted a public meeting on December 15th. Public meeting notices were mailed to approximately 500 residents and property owners, not only along San Mateo Avenue, but also to the surrounding neighborhood as well. Staff also hand-delivered the notice to each and every address along San Mateo Avenue between El Camino and Huntington Avenue. And unfortunately, a large storm event occurred the same day as the public meeting, and only 2 persons attended the meeting. Staff is currently preparing to schedule an additional meeting, including presentation at the upcoming Chamber of Commerce meeting, so that we can reach as many people as possible to obtain their comments so that it can be incorporated into the project construction document. So what are the impacts of this utility replacement project? Well, San Mateo Avenue corridor is heavily congested underneath the street and sidewalk with various utilities. The only available corridor is to install the new water and sewer pipelines within the street. Since there is only a single lane in each direction, a temporary roadway closure will be required daily in order to construct both utilities due to the narrow width of San Mateo Avenue. It is currently anticipated that the road will be closed a segment at a time to allow for traffic to continue to circulate. Segments will likely be closed from Angus Avenue to Sylvan first, then in Sylvan to Genevan, and then finally from Genevan to El Camino. Parking would also be restricted within each segment where construction work will take place. A contractor will be required to provide detour signs to reroute pedestrian, sidewalk access, and cars during construction. Some construction noise and dust is also expected during the working hours. However, water and sewer services will not be disrupted during construction until the contractor performs the tie-in connection to the existing water main and water and sewer service. Businesses will be notified a minimum of 48 hours in advance of any disruption to the both water and sewer services. Currently, construction work hours is proposed to be limited from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And at the end of each day, the contractor will be required to reopen the roadway and on-street parking will be made available. As for the project schedule, staff anticipates advertising the project in February and will return to council to award the construction contract in around March. The construction is anticipated to start in summer and will take approximately 5 months to complete. And prior to beginning construction, the city and the contractor will provide project notification to all the residents and businesses along San Mateo Avenue to alert them of the anticipated construction start date. Staff will also coordinate with the contractor to make sure that the project is delivered at a minimal impact as possible during construction. And once the pipelines are installed, new pavement will be placed along the entire construction limit. The city also has a partnership with Community Foundation to utilize the grant funds to enhance pedestrian safety by installing flashing beacons at certain mid-block crossings at the end of the project. And in regards to fiscal impact, there's no new impact at this time since this report is for City Council and community information. And this concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jimmy at this time?
To the chair.
Ken?
Jimmy, I know there's always been talk about improving the downtown, and since we've been on this council, we know that there are challenges and there are hurdles as far as streetscaping the downtown. So now that we are going to take care of majority of the infrastructure, it's something that I brought up when you first introduced this project, is what can be done about the culverts that are preventing us from planting trees throughout the downtown. I'm sure a lot of people would like to get rid of the pots, would like to plant trees the way they're supposed to be planted in a nicely a nicely improved downtown. So I think that's got to be something that we address at this point, because if not, then there's going to be another 100 years of how do we plant trees on San Mateo Avenue.
It's a great question, and it's a matter of cost too as well, right? That's something that needs to be considered, and it's also a matter of whether there's additional room to relocate the box culvert, because box culverts are somewhat at the edge of the where the curb and gutter is located. So, and they're really large, and so they need quite a lot of room to be able to relocate from the curb towards the street, and there's very little room available at this moment. Even find a corridor for this water and sewer pipeline to be placed along San Mateo Avenue. But if it's something that we can look at.
I think we really have to, look at it.
Sure.
And really consider it. I mean, I realize that, we can't shut down the downtown and, and use the entire street, but we've got to find a solution. And maybe it's just for one side for now, because for people that want to know what I'm talking about, is that, where we'd like to plant trees along the edge of the sidewalks, directly under that, adjacent to the curb, there is a big concrete box culvert which carries the stormwater. It's on both sides of the street, and so it's not conducive to planting trees at any depth, I believe, along San Mateo Avenue. So I believe we need to look at some option to be able, or unless we can do without trees, which I don't think we've got an option for that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Marty? Irene, go ahead.
Thank you. I just have some construction questions. So where is the construction going to start? Which end of the street? And then is it going to proceed, or which end is it going to start at?
It would start from Angus and towards El Camino.
Okay, and then it's going to proceed block by block, half block, don't know yet?
Likely be block by block, because the only, since San Mateo Avenue it's one lane in each direction, we'll have to close the entire block because the cars won't be able to go in and then make a U-turn to come back out. So the whole block will be closed off for the construction duration during the day, and then we'll be reopened at night.
Okay, and then you talked about giving the store owners 48 hours notice when there's going to be disruption to their water or sewer. For certain services that they may need longer than that, like hairdressing and restaurants may need longer. So I would hope if you can give them longer, that would be a good. Are we looking at any way to, well, let me ask the other question. So when they are going to be reconnected, how long is that disruption? So they're going to do the construction and then not disrupt the store owner until the very last minute. So from that point to when they're reconnected, in general, how long is that? Like hours, days?
The transfer service is relatively fast. It could be within 30 minutes to an hour. It shouldn't
okay.
That long. So.
Okay, so you're not talking you're going to be without water for a week or anything. It's just a very short time.
No.
Okay, that's fabulous. Are we looking at doing anything of starting construction earlier in the mornings, so there's less disruption to this shopping hours, or even extending, doing some kind of, start at 6 in the morning and stop earlier so that, they can make adjustments that way? Is that a possibility, or?
It's a possibility. That's something that we can consider.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good idea, but maybe asking the shop owners if that's a possibility would be something to do. Okay. Oh, and I'm sorry, one last thing. Can we make sure we have a dedicated phone number that goes to a live person, or at least like their cell phone number or something, that they can get a response to when they have questions? And so not necessarily even a city person, but the contractor who's actually doing the work.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Marty, you had something?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of great comments there. I mean, we're coming downtown with the 24-inch sewer,
24-inch is correct.
right? And is there an expansion of that, or is it currently 24 inches?
You
The
mean-
sewer and the water, are we expanding the size of either of those, or they're going to be replaced in kind?
The sewer line, existing sewer lines are 6 inches. They're in the sidewalk right now, so the sewer is being upsized. And the reason why for the upsize along San Mateo Avenue is because we're taking additional flows from the Crystal Springs area that's being rerouted towards San Mateo Avenue, and it's going to go down Angus, and then it's going to turn east and connects to the larger pipeline near Huntington.
Okay. It's going to be massively disruptive. I mean, we're all aware of that, and the noticing and examining how to extend the hours, and maybe even for the shorter blocks. I mean, it is going to take you an hour to kind of remove the plates. So you might want to consider allowing them to just leave it closed. Because if you're going to just leave it open at night, you're going to get, a few parking spaces at most. And so you would expedite the construction schedule by allowing them to keep it closed, leave it plated to a certain point, but opening and closing streets, there's a loss in time. And if the intent is to get them to be dedicated and getting through there and getting it done, by having it closed, you increase the safety, and it's going to be something that we should look at. And also in replacing the sidewalks, you're going to have excavators going downtown, haul trucks. They're already in bad shape. And giving us a estimate of replacing the sidewalk might be a time to consider that as well.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Jimmy.
Thanks.